Hello everybody and welcome to Art Diversion. My name is Pauline Dugald and I'm the Peak Performance and Creativity Coach. What does that mean exactly? That means I help people to perform at their best so that they can reach the creativity and full authentic self-expression. How does that help you in your life? Well, your creativity informs every action. Your inspiration is behind every endeavor. So when you find clarity in what it is that you want to do, when you operate at your optimally based on your biology, based on your alignment with your values, where you are and what you're doing, you can access the information inside you that can help you tremendously in all areas of your life. It can help you make more money, it can help you make better relationships, and it can help you continuously getting more vitality and improving your health further. It's a self-contained cycle that once you start improving, it becomes an upward spiral. So that is what I work with my clients on. And today I wanted to briefly discuss the framework, the coaching framework that I'm using in order to achieve results for my clients. I have been trained by the globally recognized organization that specializes in peak performance. I've been trained by Flow Research Collective, and for the last 4 years I've been practicing and honing and perfecting the framework that I have been trained on. And I wanted to show you a little bit about it. This is actually my notes about this framework. It's quite extensive and there are a lot of categories. So whenever I work with somebody, I find first what is it that they're looking for, what is that they need, and then I use this methodology and this framework in order to fine-tune it for them and personalize it for them specifically. So to go over a couple of things from this framework, one of the most important things for me in this work is connecting a person to their own authentic flow state. That is the state where we perform our best and we feel our best and the time disappears and sense of self goes away and we no longer overthinking things. It is a beautiful, beautiful state, but there are a lot of blocks on the road to it. So in my coaching work, I find those blocks to that flow state and I help people remove them so that they can access more of themselves. We incorporate the triggers to flow, and it all is based on scientific research and exploration and neuroscience and psychology and all the elements that pertain to the development of self in the best way possible. So one of my favorite aspects of this framework is its flexibility, because you can start with different areas in different way. And just to give you an overall structure of it, and my most favorite aspect of this framework that I'm working with is the approach that includes three main things, which are autonomy, motivation, and mastery. Autonomy means you want to have your own decisions and your control over how you work, when you work, and what you work on. The motivation means that you want to have some kind of inner driving force that motivates to get up in the morning and work on the thing that you're working and continue doing that day after day after day for weeks, months, and years. And then the mastery aspect is something that is required in order to get into that flow state. Flow state requires some kind of deliberate practice, consistently, over time, 10,000 hours, approach of consistency, and putting the work in, putting the hours in. So the mastery, autonomy, and motivation are the components of this framework that I base my coaching practice on. And I help my clients to dial in those three aspects. And there's a lot that has to do with your mindset in this work. It is all kind of invisible. It all deals with perceptions and your assessment of yourself. For example, number one blocker to flow is overwhelm or exhaustion. Well, you could feel the exhaustion, but mental and cognitive overwhelm is a lot harder to pin down. It usually shows up as frustration and cynicism and inability to think creatively, but that is rather ambiguous concept. It's a rather abstract thing. to think that you're overwhelmed. Are you overwhelmed, or are you just thinking that you are? So that is one of the things that can really get you stuck in overthinking, which will then increase your stress, which will then put you into the state of more exhaustion, and it will block you from that feeling of doing great work. And so working on the mindset and developing the growth mindset, reframing and shifting perspectives, that is the foundation of my approach, because everything else comes out of it. Everything else in this world is created out of thinking first. So we have to be able to imagine and bring thoughts into reality without overthinking them. So that's a very tricky balance to have. And that is what my role here in this capacity is for my clients, to keep them on the road without overthinking too much or not thinking enough. So that's a delicate balance. And then working on aligning all the biological components as it pertains to the person individually. We are all different in many ways. Our biology is kind of standard, but how it works differs according to every single person. So it's unique. What you require for sleep hours might be different than I would need for sleep hours. Your schedules and rhythms are your own, and so that needs to be taken into consideration, because the small components of biology can be adjusted, but certain behaviors cannot be transferred oftentimes between person and person because they just don't apply. And so that is another area of work that I work with my clients on, where I discuss and we work together on aligning them with their own individual biological aspects so that they can perform their best. Maybe they need to shift how they eat based on their metabolism type. Maybe they need to shift how they work based on where they are in their stage of life and their age and all other categories. So those things are very relevant, and when you really pay attention to them, you can adjust them like dials on the radio to make the broadcast signal much more stronger, which will then lead you into more clarity, which will then lead you into more action, and you will have better results. So that is what I wanted to talk about briefly in terms of what I do in my coaching practice as a peak performance coach. It's been quite a number of years, a number of clients, and I've been enjoying this job, this work tremendously. And if you are somebody who is interested in personal development and achieving more and better and going higher and reaching that state of peak performance, the flow state, that feeling of being in the zone, then that framework might be for you. So I invite you to reach out to me if this was of interest to you. I invite you to have a conversation with me, and we can go from there. And I wish you all the best. Trust this was helpful, and I will see you next time.